Let's talk about KTM woes. It looks like the majority stake owner may be looking to try to move their shares. It looks like they're following suit with maybe Amazon and laying off some of these CEO, these white collar workers. Um, you know, this white noise, how is this good for the team? And is can as KTM as we know it, and I know Smitty already said KTM is going to be done in 3 years. So is this what we're looking at, like another brand that may not be around in the next decade?
So yeah, so I think their problem's going to just keep them alive for the next couple of years. But I think even right now, currently, just hearing that, hey, we're bankrupt, laying off, like, but like it's a mental distraction, and guys don't want that, especially the rider. It's like, okay, well, next year, should I stay here? Is the bike gonna be better? Would they have money? So just you want to just leave early while you can before you get stuck on a bad team and no ride. So Pedro should be gone, honestly, in my opinion.
Okay.
Just based on the rumors he's having and just the feelings of having not. It's like you feel it's uncertain, you know what I'm saying? And I don't feel good.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's tough when you work for an organization and you hear about the financial woes, and you're still supposed to wake up and give 110%.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen. So it's a weird space to be in if you've been in a space like that, because
I'm in that space now. Shit, man.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And you're essential and critical piece to making this thing flow. So it's like, yeah, you right. I don't want to necessarily put that out on the show, but how do you stay motivated?
Dope, man. You take sick days. It's like you go to work, you don't get paid. Payday was last week. My check said zero. It's gonna say zero next week, but aircraft still gotta fly. So that's what air traffic controllers do. Make keep the air safe. So that's it.
Got you. So and what you're saying is, then regardless of whatever it is, you just gotta, put your head down and still give 110.
Man, maybe 90.
So I can blame you for all the delays and my delay today, man. Blame your ass.
No, yes, you can because we're short staff and it creates staffing triggers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. And if everyone's giving 90%, then eventually
you can blame us for that.
It goes. But all right, we'll move on.
I'm gonna need you to give 100%, man. Next time, I'm tired of being late on my flights, man. Jesus Christ.
We're gonna have to get you some gift cards, Smitty, or something, to get you motivated.
Instead of pizza at work, right? Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Reese, man, on KTM woes? And is it just noise, or this can't be noise at this point, right? You at some point you got to start saying, there's a problem.
I mean, I don't think it's noise. I think it can be a problem. I mean, it's going to cause a distraction with the team. I mean, as after a while, you got to start looking at it and be like, man, what's really going on? Are we going to have a job? Are we going to get what's the deal? You know what I mean? What's the deal? Like it causes a distraction for the riders and team. You know what I mean? You're not fully focused. It does hurt you, man. It really does. I don't see them being around for after the next 3 years. I mean, they may be. The problem I see is we don't know. We're going into a whole new. It's really not a whole new era on the 27. You know what I mean? But it's kind of a different approach, where instead of, how much are we going to either save, spend, or what are we doing? Because we're coming down from 1,000 to an 850, so what's the deal there? Where we're going? So, it's a whole bunch of different errors on everything. So that could be a saving grace.
All right. And do you think it's more corporate people at KTM than it is motorcyclists or enthusiasts or racers at heart? Because to spend a lot of money to go racing, you gotta love it. You can't. There's nothing else. I mean, do you think stakeholders are just kind of saying, hey, we need to show profit. I need some return on my investments?
No, I mean it's just like even anybody, when you get the new guys in, the big guys in, they're looking to see where they can save money, slash money here, slash money here, to save money here, budget cut there, budget cut there. It's always when the new guys come in, they're trying to do budget cuts and save as much money as they can. Not understanding certain perspectives, and unfortunately, hopefully, this guy understands that if you don't race, no one's really buying your product. It's like, without somebody race, without your brand of in this industry of sports, if you don't race and no one sees it, how are you expecting to sell anything?
Right.
You're not going to sell anything. You're just going to be left in the dust, kind of.
Hey, Lewis, man, is it time to start, brushing up the resume, or do you give 90% like Smitty?
I mean, it sucks to be working for a company that is in this kind of financial straits that they are right now. I mean, obviously they're trying to work their way out of it. They're restructuring. The hardest thing in the world is try to restructure debt. You have to work with banks, you have to work with lenders, creditors, investors. Everybody has to be on the same page, and everybody has to be willing to save the product, not just save their own asses. Mm-hmm. And, you only need one group to say, well, we only want to save our own asses, and kind of throw the whole thing into turmoil. Like, everybody has to be in agreement. Look, we've already lost this much. How much more are we willing to lose before we pull the plug on this? Do I think KTM will survive as a brand? I think the brand will survive. I think what we'll see from the brand will change significantly. I mean, they're still trying to innovate. They just launched a new bike. They've been showing production videos of the RC. This is, what they believe is going to be their first step in kind of moving back into the market with a new product at a great price point. I mean, I've looked at the bike. I've looked at some of the specs. What they're selling at that price is pretty nice, man. What's
the price point? Because I know they had that, what is it, the RC8 that was like 60 grand?
No. So they have an RC, what is it, 9?
Like the 890?
890.
Okay. Oh, okay. And that's like, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, again, this is, you're looking at something that's more along the lines of, what's considered now a super sport. 3 years ago, it'd be a twins bike, but it's considered a super sport. And early sales projections on that seem pretty positive. Early sales projections on it have it, selling decently well to launch. But the biggest problem with KTM is they've been known as an off-road brand for almost their entire life. And then they got onto on-road motorcycles outside of like their super adventure and so forth. They were always considered an off-road dual sport type of bike. They get into the road market. They don't get into the road market with some of the best products. The RC390, everybody thought was a great bike until they started to realize it wasn't as great as everybody thought it was.
Hey, come on, man. I have 2 of them.
That's your fault, not mine.
I love them. I love them. I love them.
But if you crash them, they're not the most friendly bikes to fix. And unfortunately, crashing is part of building a cheap bike. Yeah. So you have to build it, when you build a uniframe bodied bike, a trellis frame, and the subframe is welded onto the main frame, and you crash, your whole bike is totaled. This is why on conventional sport bikes, you have a subframe that connects one part of the bike to the main frame. And even where you connect the rear sets to the bike, they're not welded pieces for the most part. They're pieces that are on the main frame, and the rear sets are designed to bend before the frame bends. Whereas KTM built a bike kind of made to only survive one crash, if that.
The bike is $50 or $100, man. Come on, let's.
Right. Well, that's all it's worth. But I think they learned from the RC390. This new bike looks like it has a lot of different pieces that address a lot of the concerns that the RC390 presented. Mm-hmm. So I think that they're going in the right direction. Again, it's how long do these investors, how long do these creditors, how long do all these people that are putting money into it want to keep pumping money into something before they see some positive returns, before they start pulling the plug? Right. And the first thing you got to do is you got to cut expenses. You got to cut corners. Right now they're talking about moving all production to the Asian markets, to Indonesia and places like that, to try to get the cost down, trying to reduce overlap in development people. So instead of having 20 development people, maybe cut it down to 8 development people, or cut here, cut there. Like they're trying to find ways to stay profitable, cut overall spending, and keep coming to the market. If they don't go positive in the next 36 months, then that's when you really got to start to worry. On the GP front, the one saving grace on the GP front is the new owner of Tech 3. The new owner of Tech 3 comes in with a lot of money. And he came in and bought Tech 3 knowing that they're on a KTM.
Right.
So he's going to want to pump money in to make sure that KTM keeps making MotoGP bikes, at least for the next 2 or 3 years, until he can work out a deal to maybe get another manufacturer to step in.
Right, I was going to say, yeah.
So I don't think they're going anywhere, but I don't know if their development is going to stay at the peak where everybody else is. I think they're going to have to cut some corners somewhere. A little bit less carbon fiber, a little more plastic, a little less titanium, a little bit more stainless steel.
What? You're probably right. But at that point, cutting corners was the point of staying in GP. Because GP is the whole point of not cutting corners, So why stay?
Because if the guy in Tech 3 is cutting big ass checks, you want to stay in the GP game, because this guy's paying for the GP bikes. He's bringing you profit.
Right, and it's bringing you R&D.
Yep.
Okay.
So there is a benefit. Yeah, and this is the way most companies justify going racing. We're going to take this budget, and it's not just coming from this one pool of marketing. It's coming from marketing, research and development. It's coming from this other part over here. So all these different, even though it's the same checkbook, when you can slice it up across different segments of the checkbook, different accounts payable segments, you can justify, hey, we spent $1 million, but marketing only spent 250,000, R&D spent 320. This other department spent 245. I mean, that's accounting. It's a funny game, man. You get one big number, but when you cut it up into 7 different departments, it's not that big.
Not that big a deal.